Chapter 658, At the Foot of Ancient Gods Mountain. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. As his cultivation improved, Zhang Yuochen needed more and more Xuanwu sacred blood to reach the next level. Zhang Yuochen took half a year to refine 3 drops of Xuanwu sacred blood, during which time he had raised his cultivation from the initial stage to the peak of the 4th change in the Fish Dragon realm. At the 3rd change in the Fish Dragon realm, Zhang Yuochen had only required 1 drop to reach the peak. All the meridians in his body surged with violent genuine qi. Some of it exceeded what he could withstand, seeping out from his pores and floating in the air. A 10-meter Xuanwu illusory image now appeared. Zhang Yuochen's cultivation had improved rapidly after refining the Xuanwu sacred blood. He had now reached the peak of the 4th change in the Fish Dragon realm. This growing power, however, had not integrated well with his internal strength. The new spiritual blood and genuine qi carried an aura from the cyan fire Xuanwu. It was repelled by Zhang Yuochen's own genuine qi and spiritual blood. Zhang Yuochen did not continue to refine a 4th drop of Xuanwu sacred blood. He stretched out his hand and started mobilizing the genuine qi inside his body. He directed the powerful genuine qi through the meridians on his arm and forced it out of his palm. Zhang Yuochen felt a dull throbbing pain in the meridians on his arm. 2 streams of genuine qi, the old and the new, were clashing there. Zhang Yuochen withdrew some genuine qi. He eased the rest of the genuine qi inside his body. Instantly, the throbbing pain in his arm ebbed. I've already reached the peak of the 4th change in the Fish Dragon realm. More Xuanwu sacred blood won't help me break into the 5th change. After this, I'll have to fortify my cultivation for a while. I must refine the new spiritual blood and genuine qi more, integrating them into my own body and consolidating my power. Then, I can start cultivating my 2nd holy meridian and break into the 5th change in the Fish Dragon realm. Zhang Yuochen had now reached the peak of the 4th change in the Fish Dragon realm, and his cultivation improved drastically. However, he still could not utilize his genuine qi efficiently. He could only access 50 to 60% of its power. In other words, he was not stable in the present realm. He could not perfectly execute its power. He still had much room for improvement at the 4th change in the Fish Dragon realm. Of course, he had already dramatically improved his strength. Zhang Yuochen withdrew the genuine qi and stopped practicing. He took out his ancient abyss sword and practiced sword moves instead. Swoosh! He brandished his sword casually, and dozens of qi swords appeared and encircled him. Instantly, his aura became noble, swift, and fierce. He was like a white-clothed sword saint. Zhang Yuochen spread his legs and slashed with his sword. He rapidly drew an 80-meter sword arc in the air. The sword qi soared far away. The powerful sword qi cut up the earth, leaving a deep fissure. Sacred guiding sword. Sacred full moon sword. Zhang Yuochen's understanding of the Tao of the sword had become many times more profound after he reached the 7th realm of Sword 1. Even his sacred sword skill, a spiritual level low class technique, was executed like a ghost level inferior class technique. After one last move, Zhang Yuochen sheathed his ancient abyss sword. There are 10 realms in Sword 1. By rights, I ought to spend more time on each succeeding level. The levels get progressively more difficult, but with the 3 sects of sword comprehension guiding me, my cultivation speed has only slackened a bit. I need at most 1 year to complete all 10 realms of Sword 1, given my present speed. If I go a little quicker, I can do it in 8 months. Not only had his understanding of Sword 1 reached the 7th realm, the heart of the sword in his qi sea had also crystallized. It was like a gem, giving off brilliant rays. Zhang Yuochen realized he was about to break into the advanced stage of the heart integrated into sword. His ability in the Tao of the sword had progressed very rapidly. It must have something to do with the 3 sects of sword comprehension. The outcome of this training retreat satisfied Zhang Yuochen greatly. Half a year passed within the scroll world, while 20 days passed outside. Zhang Yuochen now realized it was the 1st day of the 3rd month. Ancient Gods Mountain opened to saints' disciples on the 1st of each month. Zhang Yuochen needed to visit the mountain, both to satisfy his curiosity and to investigate the heaven and earth altar. He walked out of the scroll world and returned once more to Zixia Sacred Mountain. Lord Black, please don't turn up the heat. I beg you please don't turn up the heat. I'm stewing." Outside his room, Xunhualiu and Mujiji wailed piteously. Creak. Zhang Yuochen pushed his door open and walked out. 2 3-meter-tall bronze cauldrons were in the yard. Both were stuffed with herbs and the blood of savage beasts. An overpowering, bloody stench filled the air. Xunhualiu and Mujiji were stewing inside the boiling bronze cauldrons. Their wails could be heard. They became higher and higher in pitch. Blackie stood by the bronze cauldrons. 2 roaring flame arrays had been set up there. He poured fire nature spiritual crystals into them, and the flames blazed more intensely. The herb cauldron, cast out of green bronze, was glowing. Everyone could see how hot it was. Blackie stood up, his paws behind his back. He circled the 2 cauldrons and snorted, "You have to fortify yourselves with herbs and blood after every training. Only then will you improve in your cultivation. To be the best, you must suffer." "Lord Black, I can't take it anymore." From the left cauldron came Mujiji's horrible scream. Blackie stared at him and said, "Even if you can't, you must be appreciative. Young dragons used to be stewed in these herbs and blood. I'm the only one, other than the dragon tribe, who knows the formula. Of course, I didn't add herbs and blood from savage beasts. They are too rare. This concoction only has 30% of the original potency. Since you two have reached the first change in the fish-dragon realm, you can bear with it. If not, you are useless crap. The secret concoction removes impurities from your bodies, enhances your skin, blood, bones, and sinews. You can break into the second change in the fish-dragon realm with its help, or even the third. It's very likely." Zhang Yuochen walked to the cauldrons and asked, "Was this concoction really used to stew young dragons?" Of course. Blackie already knew Zhang Yuochen had left the scroll world. He was not the least surprised. Raising his head, he said, "Everyone nurtured by me will become extraordinary. Their physical quality is poor. They can only fully develop after a potent dose of medication. Even if they do not match the young dragons, the concoction will make them many times more powerful than other monks of the same realm. I'm strengthening their willpower as well. If they can't make it, they won't be top-quality warriors, even with many resources." After 2 hours, the herbs and blood in the cauldrons had evaporated. Blackie finally let Xunhualiu and Mujiji out. They were wrapped in a thick black casing of blood, like 2 mummies. "Stop pretending you're hurt. Ancient Gods Mountain opens today. Miss it, and you'll have to wait another month," Zhang Yuochen said. Bam, bam. Xunhualiu and Mujiji quickly broke free from the casing. They flew out forcefully, landing on the ground with loud thuds. Compared to 20 days ago, their bodies seemed completely remolded. A powerful, beast-like aura emanated from them. Their skin glowed with a light golden sheen. They were approaching the second change in the fish-dragon realm, skin refining to gold. Lord Black is no mean teacher. He leaves us half dead after each session, but our injuries heal immediately after we are soaked in herbs and blood. Our physical abilities have improved dramatically, Mujiji said. Although Mujiji was still obese, Zhang Yuochen could see that he had lost a lot of weight. Xunhualiu looked at his arms. He was very agitated. His face was flushing with excitement. Lord Black is awesome. I, Xunhualiu, will become a top fighter. Panglong is nothing. How could he beat me? Xunhualiu lifted Blackie and showered him with kisses. Bam. Blackie struck out his paw and made Xunhualiu fly 50 meters away. He remarked scornfully, "Stay away from me." Physically, you're still miles away from being a top fighter. Zhang Yuochen shook his head and smiled. Let's get changed and get out of here. Xunhualiu and Mujiji changed into the cyan robes of Saints' disciples. They hurried with Zhang Yuochen in the direction of Ancient Gods Mountain. The first of each month was an important day. Even Saints' disciples who seldom appeared would gather at the foot of Ancient Gods Mountain. The place would become lively and noisy. Zhang Yuochen arrived outside the gate of Ancient Gods Mountain. He was quite astounded by the scene. There was a sea of people. Everyone surrounding him was a Saint's disciple in cyan robe. Even the weakest disciple was in the first change in the fish-dragon realm. The weakest disciple here would be a superior warrior outside. This was a big congregation of Saint's disciples. If disaster struck here, it would turn the entire suzerain into a heap of ruins within 2 hours. Of the 3 Only Mujiji had visited Ancient Gods Mountain before. He had acquired some knowledge of the place. Mujiji explained. There weren't so many people here in the past. Many saints' disciples traveling outside have returned, as we will hold sword duels soon. Some saints' disciples have emerged from their secluded retreats. They are adjusting themselves, trying to reach their best physical state before the duels. They also want to learn more about their opponents and formulate their tactics accordingly.